All right, if you're a real estate agent, you know the daily grind. I mean, you really know it. But what if you had a partner that could manage your marketing, follow up on leads, and even review contracts for you, all while you were asleep? Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, it's not anymore. A whole new wave of AI is here, and it's not just another tool. Nope, it's aiming to be your new digital co-pilot. So yeah, let's dive into this.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about the problem, what we're calling the real estate grind. Then we'll meet these new AI co-pilots. After that, we're going to peek behind the curtain at the back office, or the engine room. We'll wrap it all up with the agent's new toolkit, and then the big one, what this all means for you. So why is this all happening right now? What is it about the real estate world today that's creating this perfect storm for these super advanced AI systems? Well, it all boils down to just how complex and overwhelming an agent's daily job has become.
And that brings us to the big question, the one that really frames this whole tech movement. For years, agents have felt this pressure to do it all, but are we finally at a breaking point? Well, if you ask these new tech companies, the answer is a huge, resounding yes.
I mean, just look at the modern agent's burden. You're trying to manage this messy patchwork of different tools that don't talk to each other. That leads to endless, mind-numbing hours of manual data entry. You've got the constant pressure of following up with every single lead, coordinating these insanely complex transactions, and then, somehow, you're supposed to find the time and energy to create amazing marketing materials? It's just exhausting, and it pulls you away from the one thing that truly matters, connecting with your clients.
So, what's the solution? This is where we get to meet the first category of these new systems, the AI co-pilots. And the word to remember here is autonomous. These aren't just little apps you poke at, they're designed to be your partner.
To really get this, we have to understand this term, agentic AI. See, this is not your normal AI that just does one little task you tell it to do. Agentic AI can look at an entire process, say, nurturing a new lead all the way from first text to a signed contract, and it can plan, execute, and manage that whole workflow all by itself. It doesn't need you to hold its hand every step of the way. So it really does act more like an assistant than a calculator. That's the key.
And we're already seeing the first major players pop up. You've got Lofty, which is really positioning itself as an agentic operating system that can just take over entire workflows for you. Then you've got Breezy, which does a similar thing. It centralizes your work, but it adds this really cool, unique feature. It has a data tool that can actually analyze properties for their redevelopment potential. Think about that. That's a total game changer for finding hidden gems for your investor clients.
This quote from Lofty's CEO, it just nails the big vision here. He's not talking about some small, tiny improvement. He's calling it a force multiplier. The whole idea is that this tech will fundamentally change the scale and the efficiency of how an agent or even a whole brokerage can operate. And I love this because Breezy's co-founder brings it right back down to earth, right back to the agent's point of view. This tech wasn't just built because it was cool. It was born out of a real personal need. He wanted a tool that could think like an agent, to handle all that repetitive stuff so he could just focus on the human side of the business, the client experience. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, but is this a real thing or just some niche idea? This number should tell you everything. $10 million. And that's in pre-seed funding for Breezy. That is a massive vote of confidence from major investors. We're talking people connected to OpenAI. It's a huge signal that the smartest money in tech is betting that AI co-pilots for real estate are going to be huge.
Okay, so we've seen the AI that helps the agent out front. But what about all the work that happens behind the scenes? Now let's shift gears and look at the engine room of the brokerage, the back office, where another, quieter AI revolution is happening.
To really appreciate this change, you have to feel the pain of the old way. For every single deal, someone on staff has to go through this incredibly tedious process. Get a PDF, read every single line, manually type that info into like 3 different systems, hunt around for missing signatures, and then try to flag any compliance problems. It's slow, it's boring, and it's just begging for mistakes to happen.
And now, look at the new way. It's almost ridiculously simple. The AI just does it all. For you, automatically. It reads the contract, pulls the data, checks for compliance, and flags any problems before a human even has to look at it. This is a complete and total game changer for how a brokerage runs. So who are the key players here? Well, first, you have a company called Law 47, and they are laser-focused on automating that painful contract review process we just talked about. Then you have this really interesting partnership between Navica and Resp AI. What they're doing is putting AI directly into the MLS so it can automatically fill in listing details just by looking at the photos, and even check those photos for compliance issues. Pretty cool, right?
And the impact here it's not small. Law 47 says its tools can cut the time staff spend on contract review and data entry by 50%. 50! Just imagine for a second what a brokerage could do with all that reclaimed time. They could support way more agents, handle more deals, all without hiring more people.
And hey, this isn't just some made-up marketing number. This is a real quote from an office manager who's actually using these tools. She says they're already seeing a 25% drop in their workload. That is real, tangible proof that this technology is working right here, right now.
Phew. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, met a few new companies, so let's take a breath and pull this all together. Let's look at what this new AI toolkit for real estate agents actually looks like. This chart gives you a great little summary. You've got Lofty and Breezy as your front-end, agent-facing assistants. Then you've got the powerhouses in the back end, Navica and Resp AI making MLS data way better, and Lofty 47 giving your brokerage staff their time back. See, each one tackles a different pain point, but they're all pointing in the exact same direction: more automation, more efficiency.
All right, we've seen the tools, we've seen the impact, but what's the big picture here? Let's zoom out and talk about what this really means for you and the future of being a real estate agent.
If there's just one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this. The absolute biggest takeaway is that AI is changing its relationship with us. It's moving from being a passive tool that you have to command for every single little thing to being an active teammate that can take initiative and work right alongside you.
And the ripple effects of that shift, they're going to be huge. When you offload all that admin work, you get more time for what truly matters, building deep relationships with your clients. That, obviously, leads to a massive boost in productivity. For the whole industry, it means better, more consistent data. And really, it all points to a fundamental shift in what it means to be an agent. The focus moves away from being a paperwork guru to being an expert advisor, a negotiator, a relationship builder. All the skills that AI can help with, but can never, ever replace.
Which brings us to our final question. For decades, the job of an agent has been this wild mix of sales, marketing, part-time therapist, and data entry clerk. With this new wave of AI ready to take over that administrative burden, are we finally entering an age where agents can shed those extra hats and focus only on the one part that can never be automated, the deeply human side of buying and selling a home? Now that's something to think about.